I'll do them on.
All right. Okay. So, in regards to first of all the question that Nachi asked about the spheres, let's instead of calling it spheres, let me shut up my phone. Instead of calling, first of all, we're going to be dedicating the shir tonight to Schiffer Dina, Basar Moshe Weisz. She just passed away. Schiffer Dina was Moshe Weisz. Hashi Yakovovich, his mama just passed away. Hashi Yakovovich, Scoop, whoever knows him.
I had yours today for my brother. Gabriel Ben Yaakov.
Gabriel Ben Yaakov. Okay, so first of all, it's not. We're not going to call it spheres because spheres are more of a, let's just make it more simple, as in the Midos. We're calling it Midos, right? So every interaction was a chab, and every interaction was hasma, and so right, and everything is going to be based on the Midos. So we have the first three Midos are the imas, which is the mother, which is chachma bina das, which is chachma is I have some a lightening of understanding. Bina is when I'm starting to expand on that, and das is when I already have an understanding and I'm making it part of me, right? It becomes an innate thing of me that I don't steal. I don't walk out without a coat in the winter. I don't go into the shower without having a towel next to me, right? Because like these are things that I automatically know. It becomes my das. I hold the door open for somebody. It's not something that I need to think about. It's innately I know that this is what I do. And then you have chesed. Now from chachma bin das, these are the motherboards. These are the beginning. And from there, haptechun yes that once I think, when I think, I'm still up here, right? I'm still here. I have no emotion yet. I'm thinking, and I'm like, it's going to snow tomorrow. It's going to be a cold day tomorrow. Okay. But then I'm starting to think, I have to go, have to walk, and I have to go take care of this, that, and then it goes in the midas come into it, right? So it comes in chachma bin adas, and then it goes through the mitzer, the gur, and it goes through the throat, gata of the hals. We're going to explain that in a minute. Happens to be today. It's in Tanya today where he talks about it, right? Is it in Tanya that I saw it? I think so. Or no, it was a sikha. Okay, I'm sorry. No,
it wasn't today's time.
It was a sikha. Okay. So it's it goes through of the hals, and then from here I begun activate my midas and my chesed, my kindness, my rechmonas, and I'm feeling bad and sad. These are klippediga type of thing, or there's proper. Then I have my gevura, which is my strength. Gevura is also not just strength as in like my koyach to give out. It's also my koyach to hold back. I can say no. Then I have my Tif'eris. Tif'eris is it's the Kavim Tzui, which is also a center line, which is also a combination of balance, right? Yaakov Avinu was Tif'eris, and this Tif'eris resides here in the stomach. Then I have Netzach, which is in the right side, which is Netzuchon. I'm going out and I'm going to do this. I'm going to conquer and I'm going to do. And then you have Hoid, which is a Hidua. Hoid, which is more of a we spoke about it last week. I don't know if we elaborated on it here. Hoid is in from Bittel. Hoid is I give it to him. Thank you Hashem for all I don't need anything. I am who I am. I'm glad I was here. I'm going inward, right? I'm going in that, and there's a lot to talk about that, and we're going to start pointing it out as we have a question, and as we're going to start elaborating on that to make it more part of the conversation. And then you have Yesod, which is Yesod is also basically just Yesod in itself doesn't really have anything. He's just taken all the midas and he gives it over. Right? What I'm doing right now is my Yesod. I'm giving it over through Yesod. It's a Chachma bin Adas, but Yesod is the connection which gives it over. And then you have Malchus. We are all Malchus vessels. Malchus is a top, a pot. Right? There's nothing. Malchus is Leslie Megar Meklum. He has nothing of his own. He's completely bittul. He takes, he talks, he takes in, he's mbatl himself, and also it's the most powerful thing because Malchus is also Keser, right? So
also what?
Also
Keser,
right? So so Malchus is also Keser. So once I fully I download Malchus and I need nothing. I am nobody, and I'm accepting my faith, whatever it is. If today I'm having a hard day, then I have no tinus. This is what it is, and this is the machine, and this is what he wants today. So the minute I'm fully surrendered in Malchus, it turns into Keser. Malchus is almost like, you have, let's just imagine you have a quarter, and so halt's gewoon of zwei out, and you have the cover of this thing, and it's sitting like this. And my tug hebt zich gewoon, and my Malchus is less than a garmaklum. I have nothing in there. And Saptin Kim and ein problem, noch a problem. And I'm saying all this is yesh. All the problems are existing from my point of yesh, because the tzaddik hat nicht kein problem. The tzaddik weiß, dass alles ist Eibestir. Und der weiß, kenne schon kein Ra. So will Eibestir. But in Zemara Yeshes, in Zemara Nifrit, so was heißt das? Was heißt das, ich darf jetzt machen, der Frage? Was heißt das mir gesucht? How is that possible? And der wird viel got man of the nerve. And coming on a mikvah, whatever so one. But as I'm starting to understand, every minute I'm eliminating my yeshes from it, and I'm accepting what's happening, so I become empty again, and then Malchus flips over and it becomes a keser. Okay? And then it starts again.
It's like women are called Malchus, because they're makabel, but they're the ones who give birth. So it's exactly in that.
So that is so that's basically, so you start looking at it. Don't not get too complicated. Spheres is like a whole thing, and they build it. It's very simple. My emotions is a program. It's a sphere. It's a light. It's a color. And once I start seeing it, now I'm angry, now I'm upset. So the way it's set up is there's the three kavim. There's chachan, baga, dati. Chachan is the right side. Chesed. Chochma, Chesed, Netzach, right? Chochma, Chesed, Netzach. Baga is Bina, Gvira, Hoid. And Dati is Kavam Tsui, which is Kesed, but we don't really count Kesed because we have no shaykhs to it. And once again, I want to say this one more time. Not that we have no shaykhs to it, that anybody that tells us is Hechem, Mavaish, what this is, no, that's not true. We have no shaykhs to it, that it's something that we can't elaborate on, but we can very much get into. In an Azboinus, where you have a deep moment of connection, you are in Keser. It's Tainug, it's Keser. So there's there. So we have Keser, we have Das, which is also here. You have Das, Teferes, Yesoid, Malchus. Okay, so this is the Kavam Tsui. So Kavam Tsui is all these center line, which is they have nothing of their own. They're just basically collecting and making seder, and they're giving it over. And the same thing got how did we build this? What's our, when we say what are we doing? It's very simple. In their ganze Merkova, in their ganze system, in their ganze setup, in their program is gebaut auf Avroam, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Nogmaals, de Moshe, hast de Aaron, in sich noch hast de Shvutim, de Shiftekos, alles is selbe Sache, sind ausgedreht bei Lachsen in viel. Hast de Riven is given is Chesed, which comes from Avram. Shimon is Gvira, which is Yitzchak, but let's leave them alone. So you have Riven, Shimon, nog een Levi is given Teferes. Levi was sent to line. What's Teferes? Levi is given Philim Mitzrayim was gearbeitet, right? So they were all Kodesh Hashem. Nogmaals de Yehida. Yehida is given Malchus. Yehida had genomen van zijn Ati Dicho Echecho, right? So Yehida was already a full package from Zana Bride. Once had gemastered Zan Malchus program, Zan complete bittul, which more gesehen, Yehida's bittul, when he came and see Batumar had gezocht, Tzadkolai, nog as we begonnen when ik in de front van Yasser water is al bedacht zit met Zan bittul that it gaat gonish. We can aangaan them later. It's a very very rich topic. En nog een hype te gezien nog eenmaal. Has de Riven Shimon Levi Yehida. Nog een gaat het op nittige, zoals ze willen dan aftoelen. God doet zo ja, zo jongens. Ze draait zich over dezelfde. The difference is that they come in lower and lower and lower. En dezelfde zaak wat de Gulam zijn gegeven, dezelfde zaak uitgesteld. Schijve dan is gegangen van hinten, right? They were the Maasfim. What does this mean? What does it mean they were the Maasfim? Ze hebben samengenemen, alle hebben gewakt in a circle, in a square, right? Ze gaan, Yehida is Sascher en Naftuli, dacht ze me. En nog op de zaad, en even, whatever the setup was. En dan is gewoon van hinten, right? So, jeder zet übergelast a pekel, had übergelast hebben zazingen in dat Shuvah Savada program. Ze hebben getroffen alles. Einer geworden verloren op een weg. Kim ich de razen een weg. Who's a shot from them hand? Everything is red. The toilet is getauscht. It's still relevant today. Hand is dezelfde zaak als in mitten tog or sometimes you're in a place in your life where you're just lost. Was guy before? I have no menichas and nefesh. This is done. Is ma'asav. So he's done it to bring the avoide, ruperein in the niedriga, as a filler, me can sich zusammenkommen mit that chip, and mit that potato chip, so that in man tog täglich in my computer, I can find Eibishter in that. Because Avrom is gewähnt oven, Yitzchak, Gewirres, ich gewähnt red auf in Yitzchak, so gekommen besinnt, but these are, sind es gewähnt Scheich in Welt noch, sind gewähnt Farm at Teure, they were giants, right, they were Kavim. They kommt to Yaakov, and bringt op de 12 shooten. Ja, so ist geöffnet für uns die ganze Zeit. Dann noch ist übergegangen nochmal, das soll sagen mit Gaish und Kahas Meruri, right? Und du siehst das Boot sich auf dem ganze alte Rebbe-Boot, dem ganze System of Gaish und Kahas Meruri that has the Kahas, so got Gaish and Kahas is Gaishin, it says Meruri, Gaishin and Kahas. So, as the eins is of Ibermachen dan Chatzonius, and then Geister of Oiven Hecher, which is dan in dan Kaiser, and noch Meruri is the program from Meruri hat uns gegeben the ability to tauschen man his. Ich kann übertauschen my actual being, my stere being, and even geboren zu my Tate, I'm geboren an apple, yeah, and I'm a rotten apple because I have all my stuff, the ganze luggage from my Tate, from my ancestors, from the lager, all that thing. But Meruri hat uns gegeben, der avoide, zurückbringen, der avoide, hinten du lamata, that als a Mensch hat in somebody the ability, sich überzutauschen. In ganzen, complete transformation. A Mensch kann sich tauschen, kann sich überdrehen in ganzen. We have this ability. How? It's we can get into that later, but there's different ways of, part of what we're doing now. Even, a workshop, coming together, this is part of reprogramming the program. We are reprogramming the program. We're not here to get smarter, to understand. We're just literally here to reprogram the program. You'll find many times that you walk out from a shir or something and you don't really quite remember what it is, but it's part of, eventually it becomes innately who I am. It becomes who you are. Okay? So there's another spheres, there's another Midos in a nutshell, and this is what we're operating on. So no longer is there a confusion from, like we said many times, ich bin nicht aufgeregt, ich bin nicht a victim, ich bin nicht a dus. Wenn Yaakov Avini hat Urir Appam von Shimon Levi hat sein nicht geschaltet nach Geleden, nur sei Appam, der Mitte von dem. Sei allein sind gewähnt Tzadikim, sind gewähnt Azilis Menschen. Sie sind gewähnt walking powerful elders that you couldn't mess with. I mean, this is no monkey business. Sie haben ganze avoidig gewähnt von Klalischow, und sie haben seine Kinder, es Kinder von sei. So es ist kein Problem dort. The tactics was gemisst in order to protect us. So is verstanden, als darf auskommen, so darf kommen, du hinten, was sich wegstellen that in 2021 we'll be able to do the ultimate ticket, the ultimate bidder. Any questions? All right. Okay, so let's go inside.
One thing, why is Das? Das is also case, right?
Das is, it's called, sag mal das ist das, sag mal das ist case here. Because, because ultimately, das is case here, but, alright, what's is case?
It's not cancel.
Orders over there.
I always see Das, not case to Das, not Das cases, like,
Right.
like the same thing.
Because the selbe Sache, wie man sagt, als man kann nicht wissen, was case it is, in London ist, und weiß man nicht, was case it is, because in Sammler ist kein Wörter für den. Ich kann nicht Masber sagen, wo es sich in meinem Kopf recht. Right? The computer kennt nicht, wo sie geht für Internet. I kende nicht, wo sie geht für interessant button. Once, the computer hat sich von the button, von the start button. Internet button weiß nicht, wo sie tut sich. Aber einmal is umgezogen in die fragste Makashi und antwortet, sagt das geht vor in Kesser. Das heißt, in Kesser is es noch in Choshech. It has no color. It's just iron. It's nothing. Aber einmal, ich frage Makashi, in antwortet mir, sagt das ist gewesen in Kesser. Das ist gewesen Tachas gewonnen. Das hat getragen. In dem Choshech dort, und dort kiekt es noch aus, so wie strachelig und
The consciousness is the consciousness to what was is Das? Is it good?
the consciousness to what was is das.
Nicht Das, is
It's
What
kesed.
was is kesed?
It's not what was. It's coming from in kesed. It's raw. It's pure. It's pure. It's oinig and it's rootzen. Right? Man just to do in kesed. It's geteilt in zwei. In kesed was the arich and atik. Arich is rootzen, which is the lower parts, right? The long face, and this is the rootzen. It stretches the hoos. Man rootzen zieht sich aus. It got there bis du hinten. And nog habe ich man atik, which is it's oiven. Says man says oinig. In Tainuk. So what's Tainuk? How do I touch Tainuk? How do I get into Tainuk? What is Tainuk? What is pleasure? What do you mean pleasure? What's mind pleasure? So pleasure meint als du 36 mitzvahs. Right? And when I do a mitzvah, habe ich a certain oinig by myself, and I'm creating an oinig to him. So from my mitzvahs ben ich verstehe ich, wo steht sich up in Kesed. But in Kesed line is it's too raw. It's someone can ins halten sich noch fahr dem ist es halt nicht kan sagen mit dir. What we was kick around and goes around. Was er, als ik gewoon kan zoeken with it. It's so encrypted that it has nothing. I can't make any sense out of it. It's like if you would look in the computer, far ze komt eruit in the picture. Die alle zaken moesten zijn, maar dat alles programs, alles numbers met codes, right? When you kicked up the codes, weet je wat dit is? Was had kan zeggen to me. It has nothing to do with me. But I'm also komt eruit that picture. That code was like that's what he meant. This ligt daar in case, right? That's an example for Kesed.
So I'm catching the ability to understand this Kesed.
It's not really meant to understand what's Titzach and Kesed because the Tachlis HaKavon is nicht gewinnt in Zomrazan and Kesed. It's gewinnt in Zomrazan inter Kesed, to act it out. We're action people. Machshova Dibber Maisa. But you can go in, once you understand everything, you can sit in Kesed. You can have a certain oinig. Once you understand, yes. After that, you can go back and understand that in Midos, right? We arbeitet in the system in Gules. Man steht auf, man geht lernen, man läuft zum Davenen, man läuft durch, man läuft, den ganzen Tag ist ungepressured. Noch was die Variante, man läuft, man gapt, man draait, fahren kippen, noch ein kippen, noch mal schildigen. This is alles in the Midos. But you're never sitting back and actually, when late man. When are you stopping to move? When are you just halten ein warfen Holz in the fire? Halten ein warfen Holz. At some point, you just want to sit back and enjoy the fire. Let it burn. That's like a Kesed type of moment. So Shabbos, you sit back, and once you understand this, you do manicha. But zolang is nog in slave mentality, I can't stop. What do you mean I can stop? I'm just going to sit there and waste my time? Ik ga zitten in 10 goonisch, ik ga trouwens trachten, wat is het tegen doen? Ik ga nog geen schijkers nog te kiezen. So once you have an understanding, you get to appreciate it, you get to sit and dwell in that type of of creation of Eibishter. Yeah. All right. So we're now in Perik Dalet. Okay. So it's Tamadidig Ago. The cycle is going so. Ik ga maken, maar gaat ik maken met toen in Tanya. I think next week or the week after we'll see. We'll do a few more of these. We know in Parik Aleph by Gimel. And nog 2 perukken van Tanya, and that's going to be basically a thing, so that's going to cover the majority of it, so we'll see how this goes. Okay.
This is basically a dum was going to
This is not going to do, but this is a kitzer. This is a kitzer of Tanya, was the Tzemach Tzedek gemacht. It's very big kitzer, right? So I didn't realize how big kitzer it is, so I think there's still a lot of, we should do the Tanya, but I didn't want to do Tanya because Tanya can have an ayur. It's ending, especially with Nachlas Aymalavach. It can take a long time. Not that it's a problem, but I want to, cover so you can start right away. Yeah, you can get into it. You don't want to sit like for a year and just wait to see a full picture. Like this, we'll have a full picture. We'll do like 4 or 5 Perukamentani. We'll come back to the Kitzur, and then we'll go into a Maimer. We'll get familiar with what's going on. All right, Perik Dalet. Yivar, sheyesh l'chol nefesh elikis gimel levushin, shehem machshuva diber ma'isa. של תרי"ג מצווה סתירה. בכינס חב"ד שבנפש מלובשת בסוגה סתירה. שהוא מעסיק בפרדס והמידס, שם אב וירא. So zoekt er so door voor jede nefesh elikis is door 3 levision. Wus meint dan nefesh elikis? Zomig aan nefesh elikis en nefesh elikis. Wus is dat nefesh elikis? This is an oil, but how do I define that? Wus is on a was it arbiters, what's his characteristics, what makes him move? Das ist das Machshuva Dibber Masse. Machshuva wo sich tragt, Dibber ist wenn ich rede, Masse wenn ich gar nicht tiefes. And was is de Machshuva Dibber Masse? What's his natural? Was sind de Machshuva Dibber Masse gemacht werden? Was wenn die Last wenn es nimmst raus de Schumme von ihm gibt, was tragt er für? Er tragt von Teriyag Mitzvahs. That's his power. He has 630 mitzvahs. That's who he is. That's nefshelig is. Shal Teriyag Mitzvahs HaTorah. Beginnes Chabad shebenafshe melebeshes mesugas HaTorah. The beginnes Chabad in my nefesh, in my give, is melibish in asugas HaTorah. Shehumasik pshat remesh drush soid, which is the four pshat remesh drush soid, which is nigla and yes nister. Midas shehem avavire van fine melebeshes bekima mitzvahs. The midas is once ich verstehe the Chabad, once ich verstehe the once ich tracht daran in mein Chachma binnen das von asugas HaTorah. Nog een halve van dem, the midas was an avavir van fine melebeshes bekima mitzvahs masse v'dibber. Once ich hab hasugen then is meine midas desire machen the masse in dibber. Meine midas mag ook free. Ich hab de drei doven. Ich tracht von dem, das liegt in mijn kop, das is the motherboard, the computer. And once ich tracht gaat es door de hals. And van do, this is where I'm acting out, ich kan redden. And I'm getting excited what I'm thinking. It's like, wow, it's so exciting, so ich red ervan. And dan kan ik staan pushen, ich die out tzedukah, I'm doing an act, a mitzvah, esrik, lilith, whatever it is. I do the mitzvah, I'm acting it out. So this and dan afijn was bin de zwagen van de machshuva dibbermazen, van de chachma binnen das. Right, this is the boin, and dan dat zwagen was komen er al zijn de middes. En de middes, was ik kikt als de middes, maase en de...
You said before this stuff besides the guy door the house, what's the...
Because technically speaking, as ich verstehe es, chachma binnen das, what's a man struggle? Why am I struggling? Why do I have such a hard time to act on a mitzvah? What's my fault? Why don't I see it? Because it got door the meitzere gun, it got door the hals. The hals is sa schmule tunnel. This wird geriefen do Eiref. Eiref is auch het paroi. So this is der paroi there. Der paroi, there get us the problems. Noch hier gewend. Then what's in jetzt auch het. Het is alber paroi. Het is alber zaak, der paroi is a feibig. Bis the end. Belang met dem keren. So, der paroi macht trouble. Get in, so man sagt, arbeiten an das Panus, macht Seider. Wieso macht Seider? Macht uns feel in some physical bodies that our existence depends on on my success, the way he's given us an illusion that it makes a difference, right? The way he's putting out for us, and for us, it's a complete meltdown. It's a Brechtenzer machine because we're completely different people. We're not meant to do. We're meant to be in Besamigdash and singen, the Levim singen, and we bring karbunas and Nisach Hamayim, and sitzen in den Bäumen and just to sit and have and just sit with everything. That's what we're built to do. To bring oil, to bring light into the world. But they're part of Machzuris. This is the Oirif, and it's part of, this is how it's set up. We need to go through that bitter, because after going through him, when we go through his system, and we fight through it, then let's become a klukah as to what's going on over here. That's how you become a proper man, and you come out, and from there you can start going.
So, Chabad is not a machshava?
Yes. Chabad is not a machshava, yeah. V'amide shehem avavire, v'anfayim elbeshes bekim a mitzvah z'maaseh b'diver. Right? Ki ava shoyre ramach mitzvah sesa, v'yire shoyre shesulay sesa. Ava, what's his man ava from the nefesh elikis? What's his, when you look at it and take, nemen maros once again, nemen maros from dan give, nemen maros from dan existence, and ava is ramach mitzvah sesa. So do 248 mitzvah sesa, dus is on existence. That's what he is. Okay? And yira, what's my yira? What's the chalmore that I have fear of the boss, the melech? Is shoyish esu loisesa. Says do 365 loisesa was maturnish. This is yira. Okay? Gam yivar ech shagam shegim levusham el shemator mitzvah nikel levushel naran im kolze gav v'gadol malus alain katz al naran atzman. Shrai reis v'kitchibrich kul echad. Shehi chachmusa Iratzona shel Kadosh Baruch Hu Yeshua Yadei v'Hadiyah. Dr. Azoi, as in some of the Chaldaran, Nefesh Ruach Neshama, and in Sochel that we are attaching to. Over the Gimel of Isham, the mitzvahs the Torah and mitzvahs was wird geriefen the Levishim von Naran, right? For the Nefesh Riech Nashuma was in Salmer and Ins. Torah is a Sache von them. Favus, weil Torah is Abishne. Torah is the Bashafer is groß at Bashafen alles and I can alles is Kolich alles. But Zan, if to say the center line of him, the essence of what it is excellent is the Torah mitzvahs. That's what it is. So when einer tit Torah mitzvahs, is it want to know how was it come unkappen Abishne? Torah mitzvahs. Nicht der Teure Mitzvah, was man uns gelernt, der Teure Mitzvah, was man lernt jetzt, was lernst dich jetzt zu
So,
dos.
was
Daaraan is Nefesh Riech Neshama, Chai Yechida. Has to do 5 levels of the mentioned 5 levels in the program. We had some gemacht from the Nefesh, and then we graduate to Ruach, and from then we graduate to Neshama. We came no gappen to Neshama, and only is Chai, and nog in Yechida. It's like the Mashiach program is Yechida. Right? So this is the highest level, and this is
was it here?
Ruach is the spirit. I mean,
Positive energy,
No, Nefesh is, this is my Nefesh, ich bin an Oilem Asiyah, ich will essen, drinken, this is my Nefesh. Ruach is more my thought, my thinking process.
is the gift.
Yes, but it's more, to understand, it's the lowest level. The lowest level of Neshama is that he's still busy doing, Pachim Kitanim, Gain Kinan, that's physical mitzvahs, that's Lama Zogen, that's Bet Grief and Nefesh. Ona, ich weiß noch, was bezichtigt. Like, veel niet en toe, it is my nefesh. I have no clue, this is nefesh. Ruach is more, I'm getting into the spirit of it. I'm thinking and I'm feeling, I'm starting to understand. The neshuma is ook het meer, starts creating already. Hij heeft een bonus, hij heeft een kiman asugas en alle kies. Dan was de Chaya. Chaya is Atzilus. Ze gaat ook en ze werd geboten Chaya. En nog was de Yechida, nog was dat zo. Als de Oilem Asiyah. Asiyah, Yetzira, Bria, Atzilus. Asiyah is Nefesh, Yetzira is Ruach, Bria is Neshuma, and Chaya is the Bria, the Nefesh, Ruach, Chaya. We have Nefesh, Ruach, Chaya, Yechida is Atzilus.
Asiyah, no?
Asiyah is Nefesh.
Okay.
Asiyah is Nefesh, Yetzira is Ruach. It's Ruach. Bria is Neshuma. Atzilus is Chaya. And Yechida is Mashiach. This is Ruach HaPena. This is that's one.
Yeah, I thought Atzilus is the...
What's that?
Like which?
Where we are, we're in Asiyah. Right now we're in Asiyah. But in Asiyah, you can also, in Asiyah, in Ehe de Welt is doorgaan. Nefesh Ruach en Shuach HaYechida. Nog in Yetzira, Nefesh Ruach en HaYechida. And also, one more thing, that in Ayeda van die levels, in Ayeda generation, is geworden ausgeführt, ein is Atzmas Elokis is manifests himself in a physical Zach, was represent this. So as the Gat also, it's Homer Udem Erishin is given in Atzilus, and this is given Chaya. And nog was the Gat, Moshe Weisz is given in Bria, this is Neshama. And Aliyu Novi is given in Yetzira, this is given Ruach. And where? And Dovid HaMelech is in Asiyah. Dovid HaMelech is in Asiyah. And you can understand what levels of Asiyah we're talking about. Dovid HaMelech is in Merkova. So, but basically in the full package, so it was a Sikim Terup, right? How it's landing and start Koim Shalem, and now we're going into Yechida, right? So
what does mean? What means living in Atzilus? Like the clip that you sent. What's the?
Living in Atzilus is that this eins.
If there's Heches, what's the point of living in Atzilus? Go to Yechida.
Well, the tzaddikim, the tzaddikim, have lived in Yechida, but since given Zachen was since somebody can't tap, they were there. They were one. I mean, there were times they were in Yechida, and then they go up and down. The events of when was maybe, but Atzilus Neshama is Azach was. My guy said, how did he know? What do you mean, how did he know? He's not blocked. He sees everything. It's not that he everything. Zana es kommt ihm ran am Machshuv in Kopf. This is he doesn't have to question it. Weiß das, hat nicht kein Machshuv, was blank nicht, was in der Scheich. Also ein Mensch kommt in front von ihm, und sucht ihm, geht ihm, it's a constant flow, because Shchinim Adaberis, right? This is how it is. Now, different tzaddikim have different levels of connecting, different levels of expressing, and jeder gaat seine Chassidim was am gedaft and based on that they operated, right? This is based on that they gave to bring Tikkun and Welt. Jetzt ist also so Teure Mitzvahs, reise wie Kitschbrich Kilachat, Shich Achmose, Rezöne Shekrish Baruch, Shiu Hayidei V'Hadei, it's basically, nimmt jetzt sich eine ganze Sache, wo es, was meint, sie me kennen haben, wir tragen in Tanja, wenn es mehr elaborate noch dem, sie, wenn ein Mensch tracht von etwas, in een andere Welt, wenn ich will, 10 etwas, is können trachten, wenn noch dem Tigers. But ich kann nicht stehen beide. Ich kann nicht trachten in 10 of derselbe Sache. But beim Eibischen ist alles eins. That's basically the idea. Is everything is one. He doesn't have to, Eibischer darf nicht trachten in ausführen. It is. Right? It is. In the middle, because it is. Getracht von Mechi, von Moshe, von der Tisch, and it just is. There's no Riechpiv. It doesn't need anything. But us, we are separate. In other words, we are separations. In them are prat. In them are separate beings. And therefore, darf ich trachten, en nog darf ich es acten, nog darf ich es physically tun. Ich kann es auch nur tun, von einer Sache, was schon beschaffen, was schon gemacht, von einer Yesh me ein. But alles, was in Stima do, is alles schon already, it's in Yesh already, so we can work with it. Let's machshuv mit Wiese bei Klau. So, ich kann schon machshuv, was kann Teufel sein, was meint beschaffen. Was mind created. We have no idea. We can't process that thing in mind. Was is it? Well, in their cup, arbeit auf een andere Weg. In zijn physical thinkers. In kann man nicht trachten. Is een ganze Mufshit. Beschaffer is een ganze andere Sache, von was uns kann man sich vorstellen. But don't worry, we can get to him, right? So Chassidus is here to teach us how we do. Nicht so wie, wer weiß, was Eibischter ist, es ist gar nicht keine hechere Sachen. Der Teure ist gegeben für uns, Leute Ever al Yami, Leba Shemaimi, says do. And we can reach, we can understand.
It's long once you learn it.
Exactly. So the alles is, Chassidus is here to open up these doors for us. We can alles verstehen. Verstaat sich mit.
Is it basically Kabbalah? This heißt lernen Kabbalah?
This is Chassidus. Kabbalah is more coded, it's more encrypted. Met van Shaimas, met van the codes. This is more practical. This is something that you can apply. All right, this is Kabbalah. This is what Kabbalah looks like in full color.
Deze moet je ook nog niet leren, ja leren van de draas.
This lernt man schon in kinderlernen, das von de 2 uur. Right? And in Lubavitch, they know the eerste spheres. They grow up with this on their tongue. They know this stuff. This is part of their existence. Huh?
My voice.
No, it's part of the. It's a simple thing. You can say "Chavra monakapelig" and the same spheres. They know, it's a normal thing to them, and they have a certain edelkeit, no matter where they are. It's a different understanding. There's no question. You'll find a Lubavitcher boy that goes off the derech. Right? He went.
If there's such a thing.
Right, if there's such a thing, he has no issues per se with Eibishter. He has literally a nefesh Bahamas that he wants to have a good time. But there's no steer by him that there's an Eibishter. By him not wanting to do a mitzvah, not wanting to put film, doesn't have to do the fact that there's no Eibishter. There's an Eibishter. He's in love, but he's just he had a rough, abused, whatever the case is. But it's nicht kan steer. You'll find him by Fabrengus, you'll see him by Yutas Kislov, you'll see him by Gimel Thomas Bamrem, you'll see these chavre, they show up, and eventually they come, they do their thing. But by us, it was a steering Janssen, because so nicht gegangen zusammen, right? Since you can't Platz von dem Bechlau auch, it's gelost. Bist either mid the system or the rest from the system. On my way or the highway. They take a lot of pride in saying that. Veles Moshe Weisz bei Klau. Ki in kasha tefisa mislabeshes beteire mitzvasei. We can't, it's coming to verstehen, was Eibishter is, nor, Tomer and Zemer Teufels, in mislabeshes beteure mitzvasei, when sich mislabesh, and likes to gaan in teure mitzvahs, azai tefisa mislabeshes bei Kodesh Baruch Hu mamash, she'or Hashem mamash makifa, k'mo shekosav katzina ratzon tatrenu. It's like a shield that the ratzon tatrenu is like senem terem natura. Shehirat soinis baruch shebeteure. In other words, the Torah is a shield, and senem tarim the ganze creator, the ganze bashafe, and shehirat soinis baruch shebeteure. V'lechem amre yofa sho achas beteure matzah teuvim ba'olam hazeh mekol chayo olam habo. Ein Schuh von Lehnen Teure du, oder Maasem Teuvim, so ein Wort von einem, ist mehr von der ganzen Olam hazeh. The ganze Olam hazeh. Why? She ba'olam habo ein masiven ki im ziv levad. In Olam Habu is nor do the ziv. There's only a like
ray.
Also ich sitze in der Heim, ich sehe, der Sinn kommt daran. but I don't have a physical connection because I'm not capable, because I'm not in a physical body, and I can't masha enken al der Teure mitzvahs tfisa bemus atzma mamash. Wenn ein Mensch steht Teure mitzvahs, is it habt gesagt, am wisst amol sehen was meint Eibester, like what? I ask again a little bit. This is Elokis online. This is getlich as it gets. A mitzvah is a getlich azach. This is Eibester melabish and azach.
Was meint Teure mitzvahs?
Teure mitzvahs is the Terakt mitzvahs. Wenn die reist dat film, is when it is toen dan alles, hat sich Eibester, der Bashafer, hat sich mislabish gemein in a
Have you had
physical
chance to teufus, to hold
Just
on?
a chance, you're holding on. Now the problem is that we're not mazuchach enough. But as you clean yourself and you clean, you're opening up your channels. Because remember, we are an open vessel to receive Elokis. No, then when a mensch steht auf virus is nicht mehr gat am schmaßen. No, then you closing yourself up. Like let's wenn ich sage am avdilen. Halt an ein schick nesheva. Nor when I say as so now I'm coming in like this, and then all of a sudden until I'm completely closed up. Or there's something called kuras. You do sechs in them connect, and the neshama is connected to 6 and 13 strings. So do grosse strings, like grosse virus, kleine strings. Bissel schita and Shabbos, das ist eine kleine Sache, ja, ist nicht so gefährlich. Okay, but these are all strings, and when I mention over of them, when this is wird ugeschnitten. And it ugeschnitten. So
Kuras doesn't mean.
So Kuras means
tsunami.
we are, believe it or not, we are in Kuras, right? The fact that we don't feel, this is a Kuras program, right? But this is what it is.
So what is Chiva?
Chiva is that simple is I'm not going to do that again.
Nine and reconnecting.
I'm not going to do this again.
And what happens then?
Yeah, what happens
the
with the
gets undone.
The kuras, you get retime. So there's critical to do a virus which is mechaper on the spot. The zuk slach luni is geëndigd. It's as if it doesn't exist anymore. He wipes it off because he's a kalarach mechalim. He's just a loving thing. You say I'm sorry. He's like no problem. I love you. What do you mean? Of course. There's no questions asked. In Zemmer Gulas and and we're holding ourselves back from making this connection. In Zemmer allein. Dus we zaten van een zeggen mafdilen. Ze niet als Eens draaien zich alleen in kop. Eens hebben we zo'n geprogramd. Wel der paroi. Also ze gaat zo. Je hebt schon zo het omgedraaid schon met de what people go through, and that they're so harsh and so rigid that we can't forgive ourselves. So we came to Heim and umgezogen and so it's like continuation. But once you wake up to the fact what's Irish there is, and there's I'm sorry, I won't do that again. On the spot, it's forgiven, and then some of them get forgiven, wiped off on the spot, and some of them is gelijk of the zad. He's like, okay, I'll put it on the side. You're good. And Kippur kimt is mechaper of them all. Wisht up alles. So you're like a clean slate, and it's mamash l'zoy. It's literally like that to the point where the Alter Rebbe schreibt in Tanya, and it's nicht an Alter Rebbe, alle tzadikim geschrieben von them, that when I menjuk salach luni, on the spot you're forgiven. Tomanish is a bruchel of right? So
was du arbeitest und sei machilasham sehr levatula Sachen was nicht mechaper für im Kippur und der ganze
right. So the Rosh Chachma, listen, he had his own program, but in some from Chabad program, the Mishnah Rosh Chachma. It's very scary stuff. But doet me toch als je kacht neemt. Doe me gewoon als zij te hebben. Niet kan zitten. De sirmara is een zaak. Ze is git. Met af dat zijn ogen. But how long are you gonna beat yourself up in it? At some point you move on. And Alter Rebbe get a bisschen techniques, a poor thing to fasten tanaisen, which is ook ogen nicht fasten kan tanaisen man, because in ze moesten nicht in dem Dorf en Sigifim, in ze moesten fertig, en dem wat je gemaakt bij Sigifim. Nou, zoekt er als in de winter tegen, maar ze doen kortse teg, zo maar fasten, aanleiding 18 prites, oder fasten, de kleine, oder vielleicht halbe Tag fasten. Eine wird aber die fast, du stehst doch zu früh. En de zoekst bis 12 uur zeggen, essig niet, zullen drinken is considered a halbe fast, maar kannst das morgen machen noch a halbe, so es wird gerechnet für atunas. This is one, like in Tzeduka, met de slenen en tanya. Aber die ganze Sache, hast han ticken kluli, hast a mikve is klur, am nacht muss de geist a mikve, is geendigt, it's over. So what am I sitting in? What am I talking about? That's number one. The andere Sache is, remember, is Zerele Vatula is so wie de bringst eraan een Shumma Unagif. So der Oyer draait zich dort en hij heeft een draai in de kop. Ja? En hij bringt anxieties en hij bringt depression, because what is depression and what's an anxiety? Depression is that when there is an Oyer, I'm constantly flowing Oyer Hashem, Oyer Vaya. And if I'm closed off, I'm not letting that go through, I'm starting to build energy that can go through. So I'm blocking myself. That's what I'm saying. So if I'm restricting myself, I get anxiety or I get depressed. I can't process. So this is ook dat worden van yes me ein, because as I'm seeing myself as a yes, when I ga gewoon zo as was komt zich met this, was hebben het een aantal wat als weer doen. That's also apart from stopping the flow, but when I surrender to it, it flows right through me. Right? So this the ganze Sache von so I'm with the guys to mikveh, so ik stick closely, and back to the thing. So jetzt hast du musst der Zedel Vatul kommt daraus, and jetzt da una dus, right? Una give, una kelem, una oisius. My depression comes when I can't see so clearly, when ich kenne sehen as a clue, the minute ich kenne sehen, ich will my oig wird noch verstellt, and so halt an kommen, after a while, it's too much, it's too much oil, it's too much flow in my body, right? So I'm breaking down. It's breaking down, it can't go through, so it's do a blockage, then I'm start a hose and the bike is on, and kenne shadar, right? It's gonna bust, okay? So, but the minute you have oil, once I have enough oil, I see it clearly, right? After you have a shear, or after you have something, you have a workout or whatever, you just feel great. The mikveh on the simplest and the highest level is the Indian of bittul. I go into the water and ich bin mit mavatel in Janssen. I'm here, Kodenkal is a bittul program. I'm going into a place and I'm getting naked in front of people. Already it's the first level of bittul. Then I'm going in there. It's true, right? I mean, let's get simple. Let's do this done style, right? I'm coming in. I'm not comfortable getting undressed in front of 100 people. I'm just not comfortable, especially when whatever all the chazarah that's going on over there in Baruch Hashem. So I'm not comfortable. So this is the first Indian of bittul. Then I'm going into the water and I'm not uternish gunish and everything mavatul. En ook master beglaal, ze do codes dat in Kabul, 40 su, met shaimas, met zachen, mikveh, whatever. All this stuff is basically cleaning you.
It's supposed to work. Supposed to work to remove the blockages.
Yes, 100%. Because think about it. If I go into the water and I'm going to mavatel, I'm just surrendering. I can't shoot him, and let's put it this way. We're taking it for granted, but let's say it on a very simple level. Ich miss Uteman. Imagine ich come to dinner, I got a like of the hand of him, the first 10 seconds, you're like, let me go, I can't shoot, I have to fight. But do guys that are lying, guys that are into the Wasser, and you're not breathing. You're mavateling answers to them, and you open yourself up, you're releasing everything. So you open yourself up. That's on a simple level, that's Aleph Bais, right? And then the mikveh does its work. The mikveh, this is it has a code in it. The 40 su of rainwater, it comes down and cleans you. It opens you up and you can walk out to like, I'm clean. And it takes away that choshech. It takes away that thing. Now, as you're waking up, you have to believe in it. Because otherwise, the kop gaat het zirik, but and it's lot nicht. So, that's one thing. The next thing is, every time you have a desire, is ook a kapitel tillen. So when the hast a desire in Zuxta kapitel tillen, this is nishmas that was get from journey to home actually, and I like it a lot. So every time you have a desire, if you say a kapitel tillen, then you're dressing that oil, that neshuma was ratzachim that gestem oisius, and I can't overgaan. I was get after from Mo, if I'm not correct, if I'm not mistaken. It's a very smart way. It's very beautiful. So if you have a desire, you have a neshuma that's rolling around. Now you're taking that desire, zuksta kapitel tilim, you're giving it the oisius, and it can go up and release it. So that's the manicha different, right? No wants to take including. You guys are familiar with taking including, right?
Of course.
Okay, so taking including.
I'm not familiar how it works.
It's 10 kapitel tilim that Nachman had samengesteld.
6 minutes.
Yeah, that Nachman had samengesteld in a certain side. Regular kapitel of tilim, but in a certain order, the zukstays and it is ending, done, nothing to talk about.
But this is all about when a guy that began. He asked about the
guilt.
chet.
So again, the guilt is part of the guilt is a real thing, right? The guilt is a real thing. The guilt is, when I mention is Zera Levatula, there is a guilt in him that is really, it's a choshech, right? You just did something that you brought a choshech upon yourself. The Klippe kommt sagen, als es dann gilt, als ob man angeritten daheim, man tut es nicht stehen, mit vervier daten. So now, was geschehen is, wegen dem ist es, Baltoisev ist a größer Avere. Was weil der Lexi Baltoisev, en ihr, lass mir sagen, hat mir gesucht, als lass mir gerne a simple Muschel. Man darf, lass mir sagen, Shabbos, heranbringen Shabbos, ich will zählen, unheim Shabbos, a halbe Schuh für ihr. Weißt du, ich sage, ich muss wegen so an ihnen heranbringen Shabbos für ihr, but let's just say... Ja, macht überziehen im Strickel, machen also und so. Ach, Apuri, ich kann nicht keine Nerven zu dem. And then you feel guilty not doing it, and after a while you're like, Lamachub. Jetzt, wenn sie kommt zu Zera Levatula, and I'm feeling that same guilt that I felt when I do this, das ist nicht gut, beide mir angerät in Kopf, Lamachub. Right, die ganze Sache. So sie wird die ganze Zermischung auf dem System. You don't know what's real and what's not real. So when Zera Levatula is a real guilt. It's a real feeling of choshech that you bring in.
Somebody that was never introduced to any of the limit, never any knowledge about it.
Yeah, sure.
They have guilt.
Yes, yeah, they feel a certain
Sure.
they feel a lack of. Sure, 100%. It disturbs them from concentrating. I spoke to people that didn't grow up with that type of upbringing. Very free thinkers, and they feel a 100%. It's a real feeling. It's a real feeling. I spoke to a couple of Babich Chavra here, and the Babich, they don't talk about this stuff. Very rare that they talk about it. They don't address it, but it's a seitov. It's something that people listen. We can't get married when we're 12 or 13, and it happens.
So that's why there are people that say marry them off earlier.
15,
So the
16.
first love, so the first love should be on a kosher way. Rashi Zoni, if that's possible.
I listen. That's not possible because we're babies. We're not even ready to get married when we're 25. But the thing is, so what's the word is that, and I encourage you all to talk to your kids as soon as they turn 11 years old. You start hinting to them, and when they're 12, you sit down and you tell them exactly what's going on. You don't have to get into details around. You go on top of mommy and you put it in. You have to talk to them. Why? Because wer sie get the information, the erste, jener hat the Judel jener. Okay? By us is Sazah schmitzige Sache, because wie bist du geworden von dem? In toilet and Chayder, einer hat gesucht, einer hat gehabt, you know, it's in besmetter stinten, bamissiv, whatever the case is. So the ganze Sache is a ekelige Sache, and it's a very verkackte Sache, and the whole thing is destroyed when you're talking about something that's so beautiful and so delicate, that from the get-go. But if you chap him before, and you're the one that tells him, like, listen, first of all, has anybody touch you? Nobody's allowed to touch you. You're not allowed to touch anybody in a private place. Did anybody touch you? You keep making that a comfortable conversation, right? You keep making that a comfortable conversation. That's number one, especially before they go to camp. You make this the normal thing in the house that you talk about. Did anybody touch you? Did anybody touch? Nobody touches you private, almost like a joke, but they have to know that it's a normal conversation at home. So that's number one. So they're comfortable with it. And then, once they're 11, you start seeing the level of the kids, like where he's up to, 11. I know you don't want to be too early, you don't want to be to this, but you want to chop him before his friend chops him. So keep your eye on it. And the minute you have an opportunity, you jump in it and you talk to him and you tell him, listen, this is a very special thing, it's a very beautiful thing, this is how baby is born, and it's a very holy thing. Can you give him whatever, you have to give him? And the next day, they're gonna ask you questions, and you can be like, listen, I'm not so comfortable to tell you exactly this, but it's just a very special thing that a tati and mommy do together, that when we're together, and I know that as crazy as it sounds in Williamsburg, that it doesn't shaykh like wie ga ich das sagen, but I'm urging you to do it, and you're gonna save pain for yourself and for your child. Because if says Emes, as Chatas and Irim is the biggest avare, and she brings a tremendous choshech and pain of the world, was since weiß man alle that the tzura sind sommer from them, right? The choshech and the guilt and the verhackten cup, and I can tell you, is the source of most of the choshech, because it's just it's part of our thing. Then save the child. Save the child. 11. You have a conversation with him, and you have a conversation with him. It's kudosh, and then you're ahead of the game, and you'll have atzlocha. He will have atzlocha. And he can come to you, and it's not something that it's like already like a whole thing, my tati, and they can't do this, can't do that, I can't know. There's already a whole separate organization going on behind your back, and already he's watching and he can't tell you. It becomes a problem. And it breaks the system. How many kids walk around because you can't share this with your tati? So there's how many kids get molested and they can't share that with their tati either. He can't say anything because this is off limits, right? Nobody can talk about it. He's uncomfortable. So this is my advice. That
coming from an inside.
yes, it's.
Plötsligt som man grätt från dem som är min tolsam, man rätt från 12 år gammal.
Så så att man rätt.
Man regler väl vad det är man rätt från dem often like normal conversation.
Men så
Auf der Platz, man kann nicht gerät von der Chabad, so man nicht gerät, bells man gerät, man like in Breslau redt man auch von.
Listen, in Chabad is a
different from them gear.
Yeah, Breslau fully from the
Breslau, ja.
in Chabad is a different setup. Lubavitch is meer, has Shabbos Matish, as the mention Kim and Essen van those, as the Meidel Hingel, so there's some sort of like an interaction. It's not so rigid that a Hingel Gunische team with a Meidel has no assuga what that is. So over here there is more. No, it's not
you
there,
hear
but
the language.
even just talking to a Meidel, talking to a feminine, it's Shabbos Matish, it's mit nerekul hit, and that's a Meidel. It's a normal thing. You know, this, she asked, they're interested in spirituality. So already, even if you just talk to a feminine, it's different than aufwachsen, that bis de 18 Jahre rest nicht mit a Meidel, especially from the 13 schon nach Frau Schwester usit. Right? Gunish. There's zero connection with any type of feminine when, once again, my innate first thing, I come from that place. I come from that desire, from that compassion, from that passion, and I can never get in touch with it ever again. And nog 20 years, what type of relationship am I supposed to have with this thing that caused me the most pain? This woman caused me the most pain. Wegen der Meidel, al ich gehad zit in molestation, al ich molested, dat mich molested geleden. And because of this, and it broke my whole system because my natural way is to communicate with the woman, with the opposite, but I can't. En je had met die gasten, so dat ligt heel je staan wie me zo deze a second class citizen. En met de treedzaal, dat toen de express nog niet, met de horen heel door, heen zigedekt, zigemacht, de viereckig en al die ganze zaken. So this thing I'm supposed to be in love with. And vergess man, Jens weckt zich op, and the Meidel weckt zich op, what type of this? They go crazy, because they never had any free expression. So now, at the age of 25, 26, we get zich wek off, and you open up their eyes, and they're crazy. They don't know what's going on, right? Everybody says wild, right? So this is what we're dealing with, and hopefully soon this is going to change. I mean, we have no choice. It's up to you guys, the new generation, to machen seder in a very ideal way, like matter of fact, like this is it. What is this? I mean, geniggelit and enough to das ugetreibt of the world from them, the ganze rigidness, and it's not working anyways. Kinder gaan, they're running around and they're going crazy, and you're breaking a tree. You're breaking. And jeder einer is a keile met a zach, met a dus, met a jens. We're talking about nonsense. Dat is geen keile, dat is een normale mens. So you can be a keile when you get older. Right? Agreed?
Wow, it's too much. It's like too clear, fire.
Ja, maar like dat zaak pressure. Jeder is, there, zit in leren. Hoe zit in leren? He's 15 years old. Zit in leren. Okay, wie kan er aan a keile when he's not a mensch. He's suffocating. Die kennen zich niet mogelijk. So the boodschap falsche Sache to begin with. Weil du sitzt er und is a keile, noch ein sitzt er und macht sich aus mit einer Gabe, dat dreimal am Tag. So what are you hacking up on? So you're completely breaking, you're creating a falsche Sache to begin with. You're creating a choshech system. En van daar komen raus de molesters, met de verhankerte gevre, abusers and abused everything. Because if I'm abused, then all I know is abuse. All I know is pain. So what, now I'm married, what am I emanating? If I'm a machine that's abused, or I was abused, because I have lack of my expression, what am I doing? I'm abusing my wife, I'm abusing my children, I'm abusing everybody. I'm abusing everybody around me. And nog een beetje zo bitter als ik zei hem schoch en met als geparkt doen als gerade en hij zei het is niet die andere is scheiget ze raus met een hakken in schlup, right? I'm not chalilah making fun. I'm talking real. This is the real. So as aggression, as aufgeregt, a paschgewil, mit zertreten, mit harget, mit afsteiner, mit dus, mit dem, what's going on over there? Was verfehlt? Also wie der Araber. You know, guy chuchel de goes, wie ein Mensch. And then kim zurück wie ein Mensch. Was hat, wem nicht kann größer Akaila. Yeah, there's Akaila.
Favus, in this case, then why do women suffer? They
Because they also need to express. A woman is. What's
like
that?
Zai Hubbard, for them there is no such thing like Zayr Lavatula, right? So
there's
what
restrictions.
brings the because
they-
it's in the air?
Because they can't express themselves. They're not letting them express themselves. Like a woman wants to express herself with her beauty, with her thing. Her idol. She wants to grow up, and then you start growing up. You hormonally, your body starts changing, and you blow up, and you can't express yourself, and it's just the ganze Sache. And the studies, and then sneers, and then you know they start feeling like not humans.
And they know that there's
this is
second
what
level.
cranks the depression and anxiety.
100%. It breaks the system. It breaks the system. My system. Like if I can't be a woman, if I can't express myself, if I need to go a certain way, and I have to go. Listen, I don't know what to tell you, but let's just put it this way. You take nimmst a Meidl und da heißt gehen einen Pool an mit a Schwimmkleid und ungetein und übergedeckt, zugedeckt, you know, there is no.
Subconsciously.
Fine, that's already a separate thing. I'm not getting into that, but I'm talking about building the system of having a woman to express herself, to be seen. She's also told that she's not allowed to be seen. She can't see because she may trigger a bucher, and it's too much, right? So she to the Chochmish expression. So she's also, in her way, she's also restricting herself. They're restricting her. She's not allowed to be herself. We're not talking about preachers. We're not talking about dus. We're not talking about that. But I'll tell you one thing. I
think more important staan betrachtig is goed maar open conversation. De midden erger van alles is, ik ken daar van een conversation in. Deze nog erger.
Not allowed to feel.
Of course not.
Verstaat ze, maar ken je een nak in de gas, ja? Maar ik wil zich express. Maar kennst du nicht normal Maß dann, von wo sie, weil der Vater weiß doch nicht, wo
there's no expression. You're not allowed to express. You're not allowed to talk. And
Frage mal hier, was sagt man nicht mehr? Er weiß doch, wij kennen auch nicht finden. So wie ist wenn der Buch gefragt ist, dann mach ich versteht da Frage.
Don't know about Mashgiach. I asked my Mashgiach my Indian. Favus my guy could drop by the times.
Ich hab da verrast.
No, so he told me, when 17, 18, goed, niks, whatever. So nog de gasten, you gotta know. So I married Hashem now for 10 years. I have no idea. I guess I'm doing something wrong.
right. Yeah.
I'll tell you what you do wrong, and you still wear it.
No.
So guys, let's get back into the topic. So I'm just expanding on this because there was a lot of questions that came up with the Shavuot and with the whole Zedel Batula thing, and I know it's a big Indian, it's a big thing, it's in everybody's mind, and you know the best thing to do is to, you know, you want to do your tikkun kluli, you want to do your mikveh, and like Michul said, like the Rebbe said, that, you know, just don't think about it, just forget it. Once you can get yourself out of that shackle, then you're already free. Stop thinking about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You'll deal with it later. And once you don't deal with it, it's gone. It's a größer gut. You know, he knows he can handle. All right? Any other questions on this?
I just heard a nice word. You said about mikveh. My mikveh, Matthias, the Mama for Kodesh Baruch Hu. So the mikveh doesn't ask you like you for schwitz, you're dirty, whatever. You just walk in with everything. So Hashem is the same thing. He accepts you with everything.
Yeah.
That's the comparison from a mikveh to Hashem.
Especially now in COVID, when there was a period when we somebody can get a mikveh, it was the ultimate. Let's say this is Shechanti B'Soichem, Av B'Temoisam, and them is Shechin alignment in Spitagimen, and you can get a mikveh.
I thought a good diak in a Rambam, where the Rambam schreibt as a mikveh is a chak, yeah? Mikveh is a chak. So you like no hezbet yet. So I thought that it's like we say, what is a chak? It's like, Diese Psadoi, there's no explanation. So I thought that when we say I'm tummy, God says no, who is right? It's a chak. You're not tummy. Once you tell yourself it's the chak. I know you think that you are tummy, but I say you're not.
That's the only way to fight such a thing, such a fear that I'm tummy is like I'm worried about it. It's a chak. It's done. Beautiful.
That's also from Yesh. a person
Yeah,
telling
yeah.
himself that I am
Yes.
that I'm Toma,
Like,
so
yeah.
you are something, and then
100%. Yes, 100%. That's from the other side, which is gonna get in right now. The next one, yes, 100%.
so there is something about going to the mikveh.
100%.
Oh,
Wow.
yes.
I
Sure.
mean, besides a part of the
Mikvah is very powerful.
Ich feel dat ook als een guy.
Mikvah is very powerful. Yeah, we again,
Okay, I guess I need to-
Choshech is telling you feel good after the mikvah because you just went into bezgangen in a hot tub and you feel good about it.
it's a part of the program, you know. Steht auch mit Zebogen und Pais. He will never. Gaat nicht auskommen aan boord, weil gaat gaan
I
mikveh.
mean, I
Maar
have,
Hamas laat
I have a
mikveh.
shower next door to my bed.
But without the mikveh,
Right.
it's
Correct. But once you learn about what the power of the mikveh, then you see what the mikveh is. It's not about that. So again, everything is twisted into because we can't see. It was just there is Kabbalah said megat, but once you start unwrapping and you start seeing the beauty and the richness of Wusman Tayyid and the tools that we have for our existence, that's it. There's nothing else. Everything becomes clear. And this is what this is here to teach us. It's
And
here
why
to
does it
tell us.
have to be every day?
Well, you don't have to go every day. It's a hergish, you know. It's Hasidim guy go every day. Some don't go every day. Some go only when they have to go, and it's pretty much. But when you have to, for sure, when you're with your wife, you should go to mikveh the next day. They say before you learn Hasidus, you should go, especially if you have to go.
So maybe let me understand deeper. Why, when I'm with my wife, I need to go?
Because
Why,
once
what happens then that I need to go to mikveh?
because
I did something good. I did a mitzvah.
yeah, sure, but once the Torah says that once you are you're become a carry, you have a zera, you have to go be matar. Hoe is dat gaan naar vrouwen mikveh nog dan was je had kind, oder nog was je had kind, get the So this is the process because the body becomes impure. Exactly what the reason is, I don't know. I can look into it. I didn't think about it. Why once you go, because at the end of the day, I'm just thinking, at the end of the day, it's a pleasurable thing, and the gift also has a nuance, so now you're going into a higher.
So when I eat a steak, I also need to go to mikveh. Because I also had a no.
that's why you should go
Some
every
people go every
day.
day, yeah.
That's why they go
Maar daar
every day.
kijken we toe en dan zeg ik, ja, dat is alles genomen.
That's why they go every day, yeah. But again, I wouldn't do the everyday thing, which it becomes like
Then
becomes
it
a
becomes
burden.
a burden.
Yeah, so
Becomes
don't
like
do every
too
day.
much.
So you do when you have to go, you go. When you have to go, you go. Erev Shabbos, you go. I mean, when you have to go, you go. That's how it becomes a beautiful thing. You know, the mikveh is a powerful thing. And over there in Williamsburg, they have nice hot mikvehs. Here, there's only cold mikvehs. They don't do
Yeah?
hot mikveh. Yeah, they don't want people to sit.
They don't deal with it.
Yeah, this Rapkin guy is just, it's brutal cold outside. The mikveh is just below the temperature.
The mikveh here, yeah, the one, mikveh mayor.
Yeah, he does it on
It's
purpose.
just never, it's just always never a time, like it's just not hot enough.
Only when it's
Always.
80 degrees outside, he
One
makes it
time
hot.
I came, one time I came in, I was so hot, I was like, this is machai. I get in the mikveh, right? The sports who works there comes over, well, I'm in the mikveh. The first time that it's been hot, he's pouring the chlorine on my head.
Yeah.
Quite a few Lubavitchers coming to the mikveh that I'm using.
Yeah.
Coming from here. How about taking boys to the mikveh? From what age?
I won't take that.
Ik ga dus mee.
I'm never taking
So you
it.
can't.
Never.
Why? Yeah.
What's the point?
I wouldn't do it. I mean, I'd never force my kid to come.
Let's go further. What about take? Is
Who is
the,
doing that?
by us they teach if you go to the shower after the mikveh,
Yeah, it's
nothing worth.
That's not true. It's a shkofa thing, but you can. The mikveh is a mikveh. It's kosher. Achitz erev Yom Kippur, which is deraisa, so you don't want to do it. But a kid, it's like personally, it's not. I wouldn't take. I wouldn't, especially now.
Years ago, everyone took the kids.
Everyone.
Yeah.
We gaan draaien
You
uit.
want to know the truth?
Aan keine net met gedaan. Kamat keine net.
It is
I'm-
not.
Erev Shabbos, not
I'm asking, but it's too late for me. Like I'm taking my boys, and I feel it kind of it's an opener to the conversation.
Yes, listen, Kornkel was verstaan einzag. I mean, for sure you shouldn't forward this out because we're talking a lot of off-topic things. No, you can record, but I'm saying don't make sure it doesn't leave because it's a lot of off-topic things. The word is Kornkel, the mikveh here in Crown Heights experience is a complete different experience than you have in Williamsburg. Complete different experience. Over here, it's Pasha, the more edel experience. I went to a mikveh in Williamsburg. It was a nightmare for me. I remember growing up as a kid, it was a nightmare. Over here, you don't have that. People are just they're different people. They're more able. You don't see that staring and the looking, and then you don't have that over here.
Sitting around?
No, people are very, there's a schmooze here and there, but nobody is this, nobody is...
It's a very warm atmosphere.
It's dim lights, it's a different experience in Janssen that I noticed the minute I went to mikveh here in Crown Heights.
Interesting. I didn't know.
Yeah, over there it's brutal. They stare you down. I mean, it's hardcore.
It's every day, every time you go to the mikveh.
What, they want to make sure you're circumcised? I don't get the...
Yeah, whatever, they check you out. It's a thing for them.
No, okay, let's stop it here. No?
You have to make sure you do
No,
it.
I'm going to actually, just disclaimer, I
I
want
think
a
you
quiet mikveh, nobody's there, just me and my boys. So
Okay, so good. So if that's the experience, then that's the experience. Then it's a good thing to take him to the mikveh. But listen, I wouldn't. If a kid feels uncomfortable, don't force him. There's
This is
no.
also a kind of
Sure,
molestation, no?
Sure.
What? 100%. To make your kid get undressed when he's like, I'm embarrassed.
You know when someone stares at you.
What's that?
When someone stares.
100%. So it's 100%.
I don't know. I hardly see any of that.
100%. See, over here it doesn't really
I don't
exist.
see any of it.
come over,
I'm
I'm
gonna
show you.
No, the kids come in. The kids who come. No.
Doesn't really
It's
exist.
not. Once the kids, like they said, they're having fun in the mikveh, they're splashing each other. It's no big deal. Don't bother.
All right, weiter.
So this is Torah mitzvahs.
So Torah mitzvahs is, again, literally is if you want to experience Eibishter, if you want to experience Creator, is with Torah and mitzvahs. If you do Torah, if you do a mitzvah, if you do somebody a good deed, anything that is Torah meint lenen, Torah meint Torah meint lenen, Torah meint, but most mitzvahs are even more powerful. Mitzvahs is like where you get actually, this is the roots nabere, which Talmud Torah can get together because lenen Torah is meer van allemaal, but
Meer van alle mitzvahs. Dat is ook een
no,
mitzvah.
meer van Talmud Torah can kill him because then your mama's in the moichen. Yeah, you're sitting with everything.
You just finished it, yeah?
The what?
But I said it could you both kill
Kilachat, yes. Well, Eibishter is Torah. Eibishter is Torah. All right. So sitting and learning is, again, you have to find a zach was it tzitich lenen Torah minizank and gemura. If you don't have the head for gemura, you want to read something, you want to learn something lighter. Start with Nuvi or the Bereishas Chemish is interesting, and the Mefarshim of them or something. The story that is Torah. That's all Eibishter. It doesn't have to be. My head is not built right now. If you like saying Tillim, if you want to say one capital Tillim and understand what it says.
The Yatzirah will even allow you to do anything, but not to learn about Gemara.
They say this is like the ultimate. What's that reason for them?
The what? Gemura?
Yeah.
Gemura is the ultimate.
No?
Chassidus is the ultimate. Gemura is
Richtig as harder for them, but why is it
okay because that's as far as they go. They never experienced the shtickle Chassidus. Chassidus is Oir Hashem. This is Toras Mashiach. This is what
I have a
Mashiach
bigger concern not to learn Gemara than to come here.
Then
Than to learn Chassidus in general, not
Listen,
only this.
do
Listening
not-
to Chassidus.
Then don't learn Gemara. You don't have to. If your brain is not there, remember, Gemara is to. It's a shnad tzwagen, right? It says mitter user, and it's playing with klippus noiga. But there's enough. The way we were raised, there's enough of that, enough battle going on. All right, we have enough of fighting with noiga. Now is bringing in the oil, and once you have a little sweetness and you want to do a sharing gemura, okay, right? But the Rebbe in Chabad is clearly this comes before everything. Yes, Vadam Gastron 770. Chavez it's an hacknstücke. Aber this is Chassidus is to open up. It's not the whole guild gemura. Okay, I can't punish the cup for them yet. I'm not built right now.
I don't want. Chadakah is good.
Never say that. I don't have. Remember, what do you blame?
The
If
guilt
they-
goes so far sometimes.
because
I
guilt.
don't
Because guilt. Remember, doubt. Spikes is klippen. Any type of suffix is klippen. Tzadikim haben nicht kein Spikes. Ich kann suffix dort. So alles wäre klug. Spikes is neuge. Ja, so glen des, die ganze Weiss, ich will nicht, die ganze Panik, das ist alles Spikes, das ist alles klippen, das ist alles koschig. So anything, was gerät von dem vorige Woche, wenn ich trachte, soll ich jotin oder nicht, und jetzt du als Mann, was ist, als es ein bisschen nicht geht, ist es nicht geht den Ganzen. So it's either toiv or the it's very clear. Do I want it? Don't want it. The Gemara doesn't talk to me. Do this. If you want to daven today, just sit and daven. You want to say till him, En nog maar doen, what about mitzvahs masis? Giving tzedukah, zoeken aan my git word. This is pink as I get lenen. Talmud Torah can I get kill him? Okay, but what's there's avodah shabbat is tefillah, and yet in avodah is alles tefillah. In avodah is davening. In the ganzen tug is about davening. Because as Tamar Eibishter is everywhere, Tamar is everything. Alles is Eibishter. So when ich ga raus and ich handle, ich mach miske, is this auch Eibishter. I'm interacting with the shtickle all the kids. So this is tefillah. Alles is davening. I just need to wake up to that. Right? When I'm going, I'm packing boxes, this is tefillah. Ich wash the dishes, that's tefillah. Everything is tefillah. Alles is davening. This is Inzer Avodah hand. The Inzer Avodah is to be in prayer all day. Heden aning, that I go into a meditation and I'm enjoying it, and I'm in a good mood, that is Shechina, was it of the Yetzir. As simple as that. If I listen to a song and I'm feeling good, that is Shechina. And if I am not good and I'm restricted, that is blocking the flow, and that's Sitra Achra. And if I get upset, that's Avodah Zura, because now I'm giving life to something that is not real. It's just an after effect. He's living.
Having pleasure.
Watching a good movie?
Watching a good movie. Is this Shechina? I'm having a good time. I'm enjoying the rise and...
No, you're not in real time, I think.
Tomer is es L'Shem, se macht es kennen davenen besser morgen, that you can do something better, and se beruhigt dich, and if not for this, bist du nervös and aufgeregt, then yes, you can do it. Yeah. Because the most important thing is to be in flow. The same way to spend time with my wife, to drink a glass of wine and be in a good mood, damit ist Shechina schwer. If I am happy and ich bin get aufgelegt, this is Shechina. And ich bin mit my Vab, this is Shechina. And then the kids, and the ganze Haus wird lichtig von that. So watching a movie is not the end of the world. I'd much rather watch a movie than not watch a movie and then be nervous, scream at my wife, and be nervous with my children. That is the opposite. That kimt daran achoshech that. So 100%. The ganze this is the ganze Ungezeugenkeit, Chodesh Elul, this is 100% nicht kan Teures Rabbeinu. That's not what it's about. I'm not saying it because I want to get into it. I want to show you a clear path of what's mein Shechina, what's mein nicht Shechina. Right? Chodesh Elul in Lubavitch is one of the most beautiful months. You don't understand how powerful Elul is here. Elul and Tisha, how people are living here. I mean, it's a whole different ballgame. And you feel it in the air. And the ganze Sache, it's a whole different setup than the depression, the Ungezeugenkeit, and eins auf den zweiten, there's no different. It's the most depressing time of my life was Elul. Yeah, of course. So you're asking me what's more important? Yeah, if you can watch a movie and it's going to put you in a good mood, and you're going to sit with your wife and have a smile after that, or watch it with her, and then you're going to come out and just be in a good mood, why not? Als macht es besser, if it brings you to a higher elevation. No, it's not like sitting in Tanya and learning, but fine. We are at the end of the day. We're ikvus of the Mashiach. We're pachim ketana. Like we're little things that are walking around in a completely world that's restricted, and we've been here for thousands of years in Gulas, and we're like at the bottom of the bottom, and we were raised all twisted. So what do you expect of us? Like it's a process.
A person needs to chill out.
Yes.
So all day, whatever. So this is what he's doing out of a chill out, not me.
Yeah.
So so what he's saying is, just to clarify, a chill out that's gonna bring you to be more in a happy place is also avodas Hashem.
Yes, I'm taking it from a place. Don't quote me on it as a poisik over here, right?
No.
We're just chilling with the idea, right? I'm giving you my experience, okay? The Alter Rebbe schreibt in Tanya that the selbe Sach is, ich nehme es von dem, wer schreibt in Tanya that zu lernen Chochmas von the Goyim is User. Because you take that to line on a book of how to be a better facilitator, how to understand a certain Chochma, how to become a programmer, that, is User, because ich nehme man Chochma binnen das, von man, was is von dem Eibishten, and ich lege es an in Klippen. Ich lege es an von der andere Gezeunis. However, Tomer is es for Panusach, they cannot provide Panusach for Mashpuch, and then it's Megich. Right? Tomer is es auch to machen besser man avoid, because remember, a Sach Sachen muss ins Weißmer haben, is wegen von Yaftel Yefes, da Pusik in the Torah. Yaftel Kim Liefes is the Greeks, this is Yufes, in von sein, kann man ins lernen als Sachen wegen unserer Würde. How so? Because we are the sun. In some of the Lichtigkeit. So it's hard for us to see sometimes in Welt how it plays out. So Kim der Goy, and he acts out like scientifically, he shows, and we're like, oh wow, this is geleerd dat in the Maimer. Very interesting. It's in a physical world. It's in physicality. So if it comes into, so if you watch a movie and you get inspired by it, I think it's the same thing. Now, if you watch a season which has 6 seasons, and then you're cramping your brain 4 weeks, right? And then you walk around. You are walking one of the characters there. One of the characters from this. That's an andere mindset. Then that pulls you down. You know the feeling, like after you sit till 5 in the morning.
That's real guilt.
Met dat smoothie.
So, I'm not the only one.
Met dat smoothie gedeelte. We all have to go through that. Together. You have to go through enough guilt to
At
say.
this point, I'm falling asleep, so it's.
Well, I don't know what show you're watching, but you have to go through enough guilt.
Killer.
You have to go through enough guilt to say, then I have the bechira. Do I want it? That's my proper bechira. So again, we're going to use everything that happens to you in the day. You're going to use it as a facilitation. So if you happen to be that you sat for all night and once, twice, 3 times for a month, and you watch, you binge watch, and I have this tremendous guilt. What do I do with this? Now you know. Before you get into a season, do I want to get into that verhaakte guilt feeling, or not? Now let me ask you another question. When you watch a season for 2 or 3 weeks that you just knocked off and you feel that guilt, is that also an aanredenish? Or that's a real guilt? Because it's a similar guilt when Zedel sitting there and you have a tremendous amount of choshev that you just downloaded, that you just sat there and just completely, because that's all, it's clipping. They're verdrying you the cup. This is part of building your system of what's important and all this stuff, right? So that guilt, als er schon bekinder van taten. It's
yes
also
no,
the
guilt of watching Lamasa. After a while, it goes away. You don't carry it so much with you like the guilt of Zedel.
Yeah, sure. No. But I want to give you a shame. I want to give you like something to understand how real the guilt of Zedel Batula is. That it's not an aanredenish cup.
When you see the sun in the middle watching, you see the sun, and suddenly, what? The sun is here. This is guilt. Like I wasted a night. I can't sleep now till next night.
Right. Yeah, and you do the same thing because you have to finish the season. So it goes on and on. But you have to have a lot of it smoother. All right, one more piece. We all do now.
Always.
7:30.
Never enough.
Okay, well, we can start another piece. Yeah, Yashem, is you with us?
That's good.
Perik Hai. Yevar male yesere gedoyle van de vloer la enket ashba mitzvahs idiyas atere v'asa gusa al kol mitzvahs masis. Okay, this is talking to us right now. What are we doing here? We're learning Tanya, we're learning idiyas atere. Like we said many times, we can't kennen dem ganzen Shas and aluchas, but vidatos Hashem Moshe Weisz is 0. That's why you can see people to Chachomim and they have 0 personality. 0 personality is to the point where I can home Hamad Gan Shas, and he's 70 years old, and he lives in fear, he has anxiety, high blood pressure, all the good stuff. Not that it can't happen when you do this, what I'm saying is that there's a certain sense of fear and panic because there's no ideas, they have no clue what the machine is. They don't know what this machine is. All he knew is that but he never stopped to think about what's going on over there. You can ask a question, but gemeint dat er kennen man of them, right? Van wat er kan kill him. Zoek der Rebbe nein. De alte Rebbe zoekt nein. Die is dat er. Mal yesare gedole und für la ein Kates, as be mitzvahs die is dat er was gusa. Al kol mitzvahs masias. The mitzvah fin yediyas ator and asigusa is gresse van alle mitzvahs as kalidei kol mitzvah shebedive imase akosh burik malbos asanefesh akosh malbos asanefesh. Ibediyas ator movat shasech amolush b'chachmas Hashem hine gam chachmas Hashem bekir b'mash shasech al makav atovos v'sichle mash efshel lahasig mediyas ator. So wenn ich lerne Teure is es noch als achretzonis die gesagt. Wenn ich lerne etwas, wenn ich die mitzvah, dann muss ich noch was gesagt. Mal ich sage der für ein Kert, als bei mitzvah sie die ist ater, was so gut soll kaum mitzvahs maßes. Kealde kol mitzvah shebediber masa koshburg mal was as nefesh. Right? And em the nefesh. Wenn ich die mitzvah is a koshburg a mitzvah masa is a koshburg mal was as nefesh. Ibedias atayr mavacha sech malubish bechachmas Hashem hine gam chachmas Hashem bekirbe. So when ich die a mitzvah is die is nog altijd een external zaak. Ik ga persoon, ik die de mitzvah, ik die onder zitters en ik die een physical zaak. Maar wanneer ik tracht, ik heb ideeën Hashem, ik heb een zin, Eibishter and everything, I'm becoming a walking thinking of Eibishter.
Ideas that Canon Bova Basra, or
No.
it means Yedias Hashem.
Ideeën Hashem. Knowing yourself. Because you are, dit is de Eibishter vessel. We are all walking Eibishter machines. We are made out of, we just said this, we have 10 light bulbs that we're made out of, that was built on the 12 Shvutim, Avrom, Yitzchak, Yaakov, right? Moshe, David, Aliyu, Nuvi, this is our whole kaima, this is our whole system. And if I'm just learning, right, I'm over here, I'm not, no connection, but all of a sudden when I have Yedis Ater and I understand that when I do tzedukah, when I do this, even if I watch a thing and if I get from this, I learn how I feel when I'm lack of light. You flip everything on its head. When I feel choshech, now I know, next month when I have to do, 1 second, that tremendous guilt, that's a real choshech, do I want to go there? I don't want to go. No way. I don't want to go there because it brings me for haksmidaka. Okay, one day, and this is how you start becoming. And if you do this one time, that's called eskafia. Eskafia means that it's good. The ganze Chassidus in Chabad is called eskafia and eshapche. Eskafia means that I halt mich tzirik. Eskafia, ich halt mich tzirik, and eshapche means that I draai es ibit to the point where I don't even want to do this. So by learning Shas, hast du noch eskafia and eshapche. Dit is zoals een pattern van Shadicha. It's not an external, you don't even, it has nothing to do with you. It's still an external thing. Wegen dem, wenn man es interwegens, kann man essen nicht kusher, so man es interwegens, right? Es ist interwegens, es ist andere Luches. When I go interwegens, es ist andere Luches, wie ich bin dort. When I go on vacation, es ist andere Luches. Weil es ist nicht da internal Sache. So it has to do with where I am.
It's about the community.
It's about the community. But
Yeah, I put on a sweatshirt.
okay, so but if you have Yedias Hashem, then the Eibishter is with you anywhere you go. He's everywhere, and if he's everywhere, then that's us.
Then he's even in the community.
Then he's even.
Yes.
What do you mean? That's even the community?
Even in the community, you're not the dienstnische community, dienst the Eibishter.
Of course. Then everything changes. All of a sudden, you're not doing anything for them, so you're a free man. Because something that you don't understand and doesn't make sense to you, just don't do. And then how far do you want to go with it? You're going to fall into the trap, or how free are you going to be for the sake of your children? How much Mesiris Nefesh do you have for Eibishter, for the truth? And if you're really certain with yourself and you know the truth, then you have an eschayvus to bring the truth. Or you have a choice. You can cover up and put your children through the same thing you put yourself through and bring another generation of lack of Eibishter flow, or you can open the door and just let it be, right? Let it flow. The Chachmas Hashem is in him. Like my whole system starts thinking of Boire. Masha Seichel Makev V'Teufes V'Sichle Masha Efshel L'Hasig Midis HaTorah Vi Yichud Nifle She'en Yichud Kamoy. V'loi be'erke nimtze klal b'gashmes liyis la'chudim and yechudim mamash b'chol tzad l'punim. Whoever doesn't understand. So in other words, the Alter Rebbe is saying is that Yediyas Hashem is a yichud nifla. In other words, when I have Yediyas Hashem and I walk around the whole day thinking with everything that comes my way, is this is choshech, this is I'm in a yichud. I am in the ultimate yichud climax of me and my Creator. And in that place, there is no pain. If I feel pain, I know that I'm in Yeshus now. What's bothering me? Why is there a choshech? What's happening? What's going on? And you're able to unspin and you start realizing that Eibishter keeps tapping you on the shoulder just so you can see him. So there's nothing happening to me as a lack of. I don't need to be more aggressive. I don't need to work harder to make more. Nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. Everybody here has been through that. If not, take my word for it, or you can go through the ringer and realize that it doesn't matter how many hours you work. It doesn't matter if you're going to take the car to the tow or not take it. The outcome is going to be the outcome. The outcome is going to be the outcome. And if I'm in that place, I'm in Yichud. I'm in Yichudus with Eibishter. And I'm untouchable. I don't need anybody to tell me what to do. I have my book. I know what I need to do. And then I can go inside and see if it makes sense to me. V'zeh shekusav aliyut. Tefisa Less Moshe with Tfisa Beklal. Less Moshe with Tfisa Beklal. I think that's what he wants to say.
The Gashmi
I think that's what he wants to say with the Tfisa over here. Yeah, go ahead.
No, then in Gashmi is, there is no way to hum azazach. Zeishikus Bali.
Yes. Yeah, very good. Very good. V'desh kus, yeah. V'lei b'akonitze klal b'gashmi slis like chudim and yichudim mamish. Mechol tzad and punam. V'desh kus v'lui les Moshe with Tfisa Beklal, which means that, like I said before, you can't understand, you can't talk about Kesed, but you can get into it. You can back yourself into Kesed. You can back yourself into that level of Yechidus. Okay, and this is by having Yediyas Adoyre. Dafka. V'zeh shekusa v'sirascha b'soich maya, dan Torah is in Mana Kishkes, v'akan nikra mozen, she oir panimi. Once I have Yediyas Hashem, is man oir panimi. We're going to talk about oir panimi and oir makav. It's going to come up. V'alavisha makifim. In other words, alavish is a makav. Amasa is a makav the gezak. It's an external thing, right? But something that's panimi, when I tracht van Eiersten, I have Yediyas Hashem, that's a panimi. V'zeh she'omer azal, she'shkula Talmud Torah keneged kol ha-mitzvahs. Lefi she'ha-mitzvahs hem levishim. The mitzvahs and levishim. V'torah hi levishim muzen hen be'in ha-torah l'kol shkem b'diver. As Torah is levish in muzen. It feeds my soul. Yes.
Because it's something more than
correct.
Ungappen de Liga van Esri.
Yes.